So I thought I'd do a quick video on something that crops up an awful lot, and that is warping, curling and layer separation. Three separate topics. Often the causes are the same. So the first thing to check is your frame level. So if you hold the frame and just rock gently from side to side, see that little rock in mine? It's not quite level, so I probably actually need to take a look at that. It's still operating okay, but it's fairly easy on the sides of the on the outside of these uprights. You've got four bolts at the bottom of each one. You loosen them off on a flat surface and just retighten them, and that fixes that. So that's the first cause. The second cause is the Z-axis. That's the up and down axes at the back, which is a big threaded metal rod. But the bottom of that is a collet, and I'll put an image up on the screen of what that looks like. And that can come loose. Additionally, if you've got an Ender 3 Pro, which is what this is, then you're going to find you need to print a spacer that goes on the back because it's misaligned. How on earth it got through QA like that, I have no idea, but it is Chinese, so that's probably why. So that's the second reason. So reason number one is that it might not be level, it might not be square, and that will cause a problem. Number two is this Z-axis is loose, and so you get a result here. It prints, it's printing, it's okay, and then it shifts, and what's going on? That looks crazy. It was fine at the bottom, and that's because this threaded rod is skipping at the back. The third, and I would say probably the most common, because most people kind of make sure that it's relatively square and most people look after that axis, is drafts and temperature, and ambient temperature. I don't have an enclosure at the moment. I have ordered the pieces to get one. I'm going to build a lac enclosure. But what happens is your printer starts printing, and it's going back and forth, and it comes up, and it's laying down the filament. Now your bed's heated, so the filament closest to the bed is going to be warmer than filament away from the bed, right? So this is going to be warmer than this. So a couple of things can happen. If you've got amazing cooling, which is rare for people to have something that's just going to cause problems, or powerful enough to cause problems, but if you have over upgraded, it is possible that too much cooling will cause thermal shock between the layer of the bed and the layers of the plastic that are going down. And this is why most slicers, Cura for example, Ultimaker Cura, they have options so that when you first put down these first layers that you don't have cooling. That helps bed adhesion, but it also stops it from splitting. So if you're getting splitting on the layer where your cooling kicks in, it's probably your cooling from your fan. But again, I think that's quite rare. More commonly is drafts. Now I have a window behind here, there we go, over there. If it's cold outside and I have not had the heating on in here and the ambient air temperature is low, then I commonly see this problem if I get to put the heating on, which is why I'm going to build an enclosure even for PLA. And this is PLA, cheap Chinese, cheap as crap off Amazon PLA. If you look at this is something I just printed yesterday. Left it printing, turned off the heating, turned off the lights, went home because this is a place of work. It's not my home, and this happened. It's not happened here on this model because I'm here and I left the heating on and I printed it, but it's happened here because the ambient temperature went down. A little breeze through the window, and it's incredible the weird things that temperature makes happen. And look at this here. And this printer setup is pretty level. I've got a BL Touch. Admittedly, we've just discovered that it's not square. So temperature makes a big difference, as in ambient temperature makes a big difference. And so if you've got your bed heated really high, 60, 70, 80 for PLA, that's going to be a problem. You know, if you can, you want to try and make it stick at 50. I do have glass beds. I much prefer the flexible end of one. I want to make something totally perfect. Yeah, I'd probably go back to the glass bed, but for the vast majority of things, 9 out of 10 things, this is fine. So ambient air temperature, I think, is something that you should look at if you're experiencing things like this. Your bed's either too hot, the room's too cold, you're getting breezes coming through, so you've got to control the environment. The lower you can have this, so 50 degrees is great for PLA. Yeah, that's where you want to be. So I print at 50 and 200 on the nozzle, and this is totally stock apart from a spacer, which I'll put an image up on the screen, and the BL Touch. Hopefully that is helpful to somebody.